This episode may contain content of a graphic nature, including descriptions of physical and sexual violence against adults, children, and animals. Listener discretion is advised. Hi everyone, I'm Talia.
And I'm Tanya.
And together we are Crimes and Consequences, a true crime podcast.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, everyone.
And thank you all for joining us. Hello.
Today we have a lovely story.
I doubt it's lovely, but okay.
It's lovely. My daughter suggested that in the beginning of all of our stories, we give a scale of gruesomeness.
Oh, no. So if you had to give this one a gruesome scale rating, what would you give it?
As far as gruesome, horror flick gruesome, it wouldn't be all that high. But as far as horrific, awful torture,
oh no,
it would be high.
Really?
Real high.
I don't know this case.
It's so awful.
No.
You're gonna love it.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, everybody, here we go. I got this information from the Wyoming, Michigan Police Department through a FOIA request, and they were very giving. They gave me video, over 1,000 photos, and details of the crime. It's Freedom of Information Act. Thank you, America. So the bad guy in our story, and he's bad, his name is Brady. Brady was born in 1983 in Michigan to a blended family. His mom had 5 kids from a previous marriage. His dad had 5 kids from a previous marriage. They got together and they had him, and then they adopted 2 more. So he was one of 13 kids.
That house had to be chaos.
Hell yeah, I got 4, and it's insane. The best part is, the mom homeschooled him.
No.
God bless her. She must have been crazy. He graduated from high school, went to some tech schools, and ended up getting a job as a lineman repairing electrical lines for an electrical company. In his late teens, he did a mission trip spreading the word of God to the Ukraine. And then he also went to Haiti and did a mission trip when he was 20 years old. He was described as, quote, a passionate kid who'd stick up for others. He was actively involved in his church, and in 2001, he met a girl named Tina at a Bible college in Montana. Tina and Brady hit it off, sparks were flying, love was in the air, and they were engaged. After 7 years, Tina dumped his ass. She, according to Brady, made off with a $30,000 engagement ring. Also, he accused her of robbing him of his 401k, which I'm not sure how that's possible. And she cleared his bank accounts. Again, I call shit. By the time he was 25, he purchased his first house. There, he would host Bible study. He was into what is called LARPing. Do you know what LARPing is?
No, I don't know what LARPing is.
No, you don't. It is live action role playing.
Yes.
Like sword fights. You didn't know what LARPing was.
No.
I didn't either. His family had reported that they think Brady was probably bisexual too, but he never came out and said that. And he never had a boyfriend. Also, according to his family, he dreamed of getting married and having a family and hoped to find a nice girl at church. But he stopped going to church when he was about 28, 29 years old. Brady had an alias online, and he even would use it to get mail. The alias was Jote Amos. Do you know what Jote Amos is?
No.
Jack of all trades, a master of some. Jote Amos. His Facebook name was Jote Amos. And like I said, he started getting mail with the name Jote Amos.
Freak.
As I stated earlier, Brady would work as a lineman. To earn extra money, Brady would sometimes travel to different states when they had storms and help repair the lines from other states.
Probably during hurricanes and things like that.
Exactly. Now, on May 10th of 2014, Brady went to the bar. He started talking to a bartender that we'll call Trey. He told Trey that his fiancée left him. He tells Trey all girls are crazy, and he doesn't understand why girls don't want to be treated nice. Because girls don't want to be treated nice, he tells the bartender that he went on Craigslist to find girls that wanted to be abused. He also told the bartender he belongs to a S&M group, that he made the females sign waivers, and that no slave could go out in public with her master until a week into their relationship. I don't know if these are official S&M rules, his rules.
I don't know either.
I don't know. But then he shows the bartender photos of a girl. The girl has duct tape on her mouth. She is in a suitcase, and the suitcase is in the trunk of his car.
Are you shitting me?
That's exactly the reaction the bartender had. He's pretty much like, oh, whoa, here's your beer, here's your bill. I'm going to go to the place. So Trey went to the police. The police go to Brady's house, and at his house, there is a woman named Melissa there.
So she was the girl in the suitcase?
Yes. And Melissa explains that, yes, what the bartender has said is true and accurate, but it was all consensual. And it was what she wanted.
No judgments.
No, this is judging, not judging.
Judging, not judging.
Judging, not judging. Melissa met Brady in May of 2014 on Craigslist, where she placed a personal ad. Her personal ad stated that she was hoping to make friends with the benefits. She posted that she was into bondage, and within an hour, Brady responded. Within a few hours, 27 other men responded. Melissa and Brady began communicating through emails. At one point, Melissa stated to Brady that she didn't have a permanent home, that she was staying with friends in Coldwater, Michigan, which was approximately 2 hours away from his house. Brady asked her if she wanted to move in with him. They'd only known each other a week. Brady drove to go get her. According to Melissa, he asked her if it would be all right if she would maybe just get in the suitcase and ride the 2 hours back in the trunk. Melissa stated that she thought it was a bit strange, but also kind of kinky. So she agreed.
Sure.
After 2 hours, they arrived at Brady's house, and he opened the trunk. He unzipped the suitcase just a little, and he sprayed appliance ear duster into the suitcase, which knocked Melissa out for just briefly. After a few minutes, Melissa comes to, and she's inside Brady's house. Brady asks her if she'll be his sex slave. She agreed to some terms and conditions he set, and that kind of relationship began. She was a bit groggy as she made her way down to his basement, where he pointed a gun at her head. He then wrapped a metal chain around her neck that was 8 feet long, and he connected that to a metal plate that was in his basement on his bathroom floor. He demands sex from Melissa, and she complies. At one point, she states that he starts getting really rough. She asked him to stop, and Brady refused. She started vomiting during the sex, then it ended, and they took a shower together. Melissa told Brady that she thought maybe he was taking the role playing a little too far. Brady did not respond to her. However, he did put the chain back around her neck, locked her up, and left the house for a few hours. Melissa stayed with Brady for about 6 weeks. One of the terms of their sex slave agreement was that she had to clean the house. And let me tell you, Brady was a hoarder.
That's when I would tap out. I'm not cleaning your house.
Well, I'm not going in the trunk. That's when I would have tapped
That's
out.
true.
Okay, I would have tapped out a while ago, Tanya. But
okay,
now I know your limit. For the first 2 weeks of their relationship, he would leave to go to work, and she was chained up for 10 hours. Brady would come home. They would do their role playing. Melissa stated that Brady's favorite fantasy was tasering her. That was, to him, the ultimate sexual thrill. But she did not like that very much.
Have you ever been tasered?
No, I have not. I can't even handle a static shock. On May 19th of 2014, after Brady and Melissa had been together a couple weeks, they got into an argument. He whipped her with a leather belt over 100 times. He then pushed her against the wall. He pressed his forearms against her throat, and he began tasering her. He tased her for 20 seconds. at one time. Brady then left for work, and Melissa called 911. An ambulance came, took Melissa to the hospital, and she ended up going to domestic violence shelter, but she refused to press charges against him. Melissa told the police that she would sometimes sleep in what they called the sex room. The sex room was a room in the basement that had a metal dog cage that she was put in for punishment, and a metal collar was put around her neck. The sex room also had pulleys, chains, and suspension points. Melissa said she willingly slept in the kennel 4 times and was forced by Brady to sleep in it 6 times. Melissa admitted that she was surprised into pain-type situations and would allow Brady to tie her hands together and then hoist her up towards the ceiling with a pulley by her wrists that were tied together. He would put clothespins on her and then rip them off quickly to produce quick pain. Brady also had 4 mounted cameras in the basement to video record his acts with Melissa. Eventually, Brady wooed Melissa back. She had told him, "I will go back to you if you do not taser my ass anymore." However, the love between the lovebirds did not last long, and she got caught texting an ex-boyfriend. Brady did not like that. He grabbed her by the nose and he twisted it. Then he punched her in the stomach 3 times, and he punched her in the face and he split her lip. She went to the hospital again, and that time she left Brady for good. On July 2nd, Brady began prepping his basement for another sex slave.
Aww.
He put some dog bowls and dog bones in the dog cage. He put lingerie on top of the cage along with women's underwear. There are videos of him doing this on our website for anybody that wants to see him on TNT Crimes because he had those video cameras going.
He saved all the videotapes?
Yep. From my understanding, as you'll see later in the story, some of it can be traumatizing.
We even had our assistant go through the pictures before we did.
Because she said she was dead inside. But there were 1,000 photos.
Mm-hmm.
And she did. And then she made a little note of what she deemed was the most interesting / favorite. And I was talking to her about it today, about the note. And she said, well, yeah, they're the ones where he's dead and dildos. I was like, oh, girl. God damn. Girl, you are dead inside.
So shout out to our assistant, Vasiliki.
Thank you so much, Vasiliki.
We love you.
So now we're into July of 2014, and I'm going to talk to you about a very lovely young lady named Brooke. Brooke was born to 2 parents that loved her a lot, Greg and Deb. She had a little sister named Cassie. Her parents got divorced, and that had a real strong effect on her. Eventually, she moved out and on her own, and she kind of went down a wrong path. She is 18 years old, started dating a guy named Charlie in September of 2013. They met each other on Craigslist. Charlie was 24 years old. He had some unspecified mental health issues. If I was guessing, based on what I read, I believe maybe he was bipolar, but I do not have evidence or proof of this. It's all circumstantial. He had a strained relationship with his parents, who loved him very much. He would see them every couple weeks, and it was usually when he needed money. He bounced from place to place and lived in his car a lot of the times. He was not known to take any drugs. Charlie was described as possessive and somewhat psychotic, quote-unquote, when it came to his girlfriends. Prior to dating Brooke, Charlie had dated a girl named Rose for 5 years, and they had 2 children together. That relationship was extremely volatile. Rose called the police on Charlie on 2 occasions for domestic violence. Charlie and Rose went back and forth in their relationship. Charlie and Brooke went back and forth in their relationship. At one point, Charlie was cheating on Brooke with Rose, vice versa. You see where that kind of
is a mess.
It's a mess. It's just stupid. Brooke got pregnant within 2 months of dating Charlie. According to witnesses, Charlie made Brooke prostitute. However, I believe from what I read, even during their times when they broke up, because like I said, they had a volatile relationship, she continued to at least have sex for favors. She would go to a Super 8 motel or a Motel 6 and rent out a room to have sex with men. Charlie would always drive her. Sometimes she would have sex with the men in the car and Charlie would be in the front seat. And sometimes Charlie even joined them for sex. In December of 2013, Brooke rented a room from a man named Corey that she met on Craigslist. She'd answered an ad under the housing section stating that Corey was looking for friends with benefits.
In the housing
section? It's my understanding that in exchange for rent, she did favors, which you can see why that's in the housing section.
That's true.
That's in the housing section as part of housing. Charlie and Brooke like to post things on Craigslist. Things I didn't understand.
Okay. Like what, Talia?
I'm glad you asked. For example, one time in June of 2014, Charlie posted he was looking for soccer workout buddies. I don't know if this is code for some sort of sex or if he's actually looking for a soccer workout buddy. It's under strictly platonic, that section. And it says, "Hi there. I'm looking for someone or a few people that would be interested in getting together to kick a ball around." Like, is that a euphemism?
I don't know.
Or does he really want to kick a ball around?
Right.
I don't know. He says, "Have some fun and build up a sweat with." Suspicious. I played a ton in my youth, and I want to get back into shape, but I'm not trained like I used to. I played the highest levels of soccer, short of professional, blah, blah, blah. And he says, "I'm looking to be able to meet at least once a week, but the more the better. I don't have a preference on age, sex, or race, as long as you can run a lot, laugh out loud." Then he writes, "I'm 25 years old. My name is Charlie. Text me or email me. Take care. Hope to get out in the field again shortly." Is that really just an ad? Do people do ads for soccer buddies? Or is that like secretly, "I want to have sex with you"? What are your thoughts?
Is anybody going on Craigslist looking for a soccer workout buddy?
Well, I'll give you an example of what Brooke posted on Craigslist that I know for a fact was a hidden message. On July 12th of 2014, Brooke placed an ad titled "Need Help Fast." It was put in the general section of Craigslist. It said, quote, "I need $50 by 3:30 p.m. today. I can pay you back later tonight, but I need some gas and some mess. Quick. Everyone had bronchitis at my house, and I do not want to get sick. I'm 8 months pregnant, and my lungs are all squished as is. If you could help me out and my daughter, will greatly appreciate it." End of quote. Apparently, that means I will have sex with you for $50. I would think that there was a sick person that needed some money for medicine or something, because I'm naive. But Brady understood what that meant, because at 10 o'clock that night, he replied under the name Mike's Hard that he could host, whatever that means, and then asks, "What are you thinking? I'm 25. And by the way, he's not 25. He is 31. She responds, "Well, we're looking for donations if possible. Kind of in a tight spot, and we have a baby on the way. As far as fun goes, though, there won't be any male-on-male action. And only oral on me unless it's my boyfriend. Condoms are necessary. I'm 18. Mike's Hard, a.k.a. Brady, says, quote, "I can swing 120. Brooke replies, "Wow, really?" He writes, "Yes. You both need a ride? Where you want me to pick you up at?" She replied, "No, we can travel. We just can't host, is all. When and where would you like to meet up?" He wrote, "I'd like to blank outside."
It's blacked out by the police.
Around 11:30. That okay? I'm assuming it doesn't say meet up and chit-chat.
Yeah.
Brooke responds, "I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for indecent exposure or anything. I can't go to jail being 8 months pregnant." Brady assures her, he says, quote, "It's cop-free. It's a park, but behind it are a lot of woods. No cops at all. It's not my first time there. I can blank you as you blank your boyfriend."
Oh.
Fill in the blanks. According to Brooke's roommates, Charlie and Brooke left their house around 11 p.m. on Saturday, July 12th, 2014. Charlie was wearing khaki shorts, a black t-shirt, and some flip-flops. According to GPS coordinates, Brady left his house at 11:44 p.m. on Saturday, and he went to a park. He met Brooke and Charles at the park at 12:31 a.m., and he was home by 1:30 a.m. Charlie and Brooke were never seen again. The next day, Sunday, July 13th of 2014, Brady called into work. Later on that night, at around 11 o'clock, the police received a really strange phone call. A man named Austin called them in a panic. Him and his girlfriend, Hannah, were at the park. They were in their car, in the back seat, making out and talking, when Hannah opened her eyes and saw a man wearing a white Michael Myers mask looking in the window. The couple took off like bats out of hell from the park and then called the police. The man that surprised them took off after they took off. When the police arrived at the park, the only thing they saw there was a green Saab, which happened to match the description of Charlie's. But there was nobody there. The park was empty. And the guy with a creepy, terrifying mask was gone. 2 days later, on July 15th, the police got a phone call reporting that a man had exposed himself on the trails of the park. While the police were trying to figure out who this creeper was, they're walking around the trails and they noticed, quote, the distinct smell of something rotting. They looked around and they could not trace the scent. They also noticed that the green Saab was still at the park, so they put a little sticker on it saying it's abandoned, and I guess in 48 hours, if you don't pick it up, it'll get towed. The police checked out the car and noticed that it was unlocked, and there was some medical records for Brooke and some papers with Charlie's name on it. They also noticed that this time when they looked at it, the GPS was missing from it. And prior to that, 2 days before when they saw it, the doors were locked. So somebody came back to the car in those 2 days. The next day, July 16th, Charlie was reported missing by his father. At this point, it had been 4 days since Charlie or Brooke had been last seen. Literally at the same time, Charlie's dad was at the police department reporting him missing. The police were back at the park, just doing another glance around the area to find out more about the pervert exposing himself. While they were walking around the park, they smelled the odor of decaying flesh yet again. This time, it was even stronger. They followed the park trail, and they followed the scent, and they found a man's flip-flop on the trail. As they walked a little farther, they found a pool of dried blood. There were drag marks going from the pool into the wooded area. When they glanced into the wooded area, they noticed an arm sticking out from underneath branches. As they walked closer, they noticed a body, face up, only there was no face because the body's head was missing. The police also found condom wrappers, a used condom, 3 cigarette butts, and a can of Budweiser, along with a disposable medical glove. Canines were called in, but they did not find Charlie's head anywhere. A medical examiner couldn't determine how Charlie died based on the remaining body. So obviously something had to have happened to his head. Yeah. Witnesses who lived near the park came forward and told the police that around midnight on July 12th/13th, they heard a woman screaming. It lasted for about 45 seconds. Then they heard tires screeching, and then they didn't hear anything. The police started their investigation, and they had the papers that had Brooke's name on it, and they also had the car, which was registered to Charlie. So they began talking to people. They got Brooke's laptop. They found out that she did a lot of Craigslist, so they subpoenaed records from Craigslist. When they subpoenaed the records from Craigslist, they were able to see that her last contact was Brady. Mike's hard. Through more and more information, it became quite obvious to them that Brady was their guy. The police got a warrant for Brady's house, and they put together a TAC team which is like special forces for a police department. They're the badasses who are going to go and do the high-risk activities for a police department. At the same time, there was a surveillance team following Brady and monitoring his house. The TAC team was doing rehearsals because they were going to bust into Scary Brady's house. As they were doing these rehearsals, Brady left the house. The police followed Brady and they pulled him over on a felony stop. At first, he cooperated. He put his hands up and he said he was going to get out of the car. And then he was like, fuck this. And he took off and he floored it. He went 100 miles an hour and he ended up, as he was trying to get on the highway, smashing into a guardrail. The police see him moving around in his vehicle and they go to arrest him. And when they open the door, they see blood on his mouth and there's a hole in the back of his head. He killed himself. Something interesting, he died wearing his work uniform, and you know what their slogan was? Safety first. The police searched Brady's vehicle, and in the trunk was a suitcase. They went to lift the suitcase.
Was there a girl in it?
God, you're beating me to the punchline.
Oh, no. Okay.
God, you're a spoiler. What's wrong with you today? Thanks, Tanya.
Sorry.
Yeah, there was a girl in it.
There was?
No, you act shocked.
No, I am. I'm shocked. I was just guessing.
Yeah, there was a girl in it.
Really?
Brooke was in it.
Was she dead?
Yeah.
Oh.
Brooke was in it. She was naked. When they opened it, there was a feeling of heat and a smell of sweat in the air. She had bruises and red marks on her arm, her thigh, her forearm, her hips, and there was a ligature strangulation mark on her neck. Her baby daughter, named Audie, died.
I feel like I'm going to cry. This is terrible.
Get it together.
I know.
They did an entire search of Brady's car and his work truck. In searching it, they found a knife with the name Tina scratched on the blade. They found rope, tarp, and a shovel. I'm pretty sure that he intended on digging up a grave for Brooke. He did not suspect that he was going to get caught. That's my guess. It's a theory. They also found 2 tasers, a mallet, little girl hairbrush with Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And what's really, really twisted is they found hanging, like from the mirror area, a public school's Explorer Elementary School teacher assistant badge. And had blood on it. It was definitely not his. Why does he have an assistant teacher badge? It was never answered. Remember, you asked me on the scale of gruesome where we were at. The gruesome meter's going up, 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 up.
Oh, no.
I am now going to tell you what was found in Brady's house. It's fucked up. The evidence is separated by rooms. So if I say the same thing, it's because he had rope in one room and then he had rope in another room. The first room I'm going to talk about is room number 14 in the garage. He had a machete. He had a baby doll with a noose. He had 3 bundles of rope. He had silver handcuffs and leg chains. He had a skull mask, folding knives, rubber gloves, more leg chains, a Hannibal mask.
That's creepy as fuck.
It's fucking awful. Oh my God. A silver metal collar, pills, another machete, a taser, 2 more machetes, and a knife. In room 2, which is in the basement, there was a rope with a noose, a black leather hood with buckles that was on the kennel, because there was a dog kennel, tassel whips with leather, handcuffs, an adult diaper, bloody soiled shorts and panties, and a black stool that had strands of hair and blood on it. Oh, and sex toys. Also, there was a slave contract, a circular bondage tool, more miscellaneous sex toys, dog bowls, dog bones, and a U.S. map with pins on it all over the United States. He told Melissa that he had buried where those pins are food and guns for an apocalypse. One story that stood out when I was reading all this material is how Brady came back from Wisconsin once. There was a storm or something, and he fixed a line. And he had cuts on his arm, cuts on his hands, and some bruising. He told a friend of his that he got into a fight and you should see the other guy. But I really wonder, and maybe it's just because I love true crime and that stuff, what those pins mean and why he's coming back from out of town with bruises. My question to you and the audience is, if there's an apocalypse, how you going to get to, Oregon?
I know, I was just thinking that. I'm like, how are you going to get your ass 3,000 miles across country?
It reminds me of Israel Keys.
Oh, for sure.
And his kill kits that were buried.
Definitely.
You can find a picture of the map with the pins in it on our website, tntcrimes.com. Also in the room was clothespins and metal hooks and a 15-inch white rope with hooks at the end. Now we're on to room 3, which is also in the basement. In room 3 was a 16-inch dildo on the bathroom floor.
16 inches?
I think that's excessive. You can only use so much of something like that. There was also an 8-foot chain attached to the floor in the bathroom, miscellaneous sex toys, bondage straps, 2 penis pumps, a sippy cup, 2 pacifiers, and an anal sex toy. On the counter in the bathroom, also known as room 3, was diaper rash ointment. Also in some of the rooms were, I don't know if I want to say it, Tanya, butt plugs.
Butt plugs.
Butt plugs. I didn't come up with that name. I was told by our beautiful assistant they were butt plugs. I don't know how she knows either. Didn't ask. In room 8, which I believe is just an extra bedroom, there was a Bible. Keep in mind, I am leaving a lot of things out. There's only so many times I can say, machete and knife. But just assume that that stuff is lying around. In room number 9, there is a flesh-colored dildo.
I mean, Talia, how many dildos does one person really need? And penis pumps and...
Are you expecting me to answer that?
This is just rhetorical.
Okay. Is there a correct answer for that?
He sounds like he's got 50 penis pumps and...
Tanya does not really want to know the answer to that. Do not email us with the correct answer, please. Okay. Now we're on to room 5, which is the downstairs basement living room. There are more metal handcuffs, 5 different rope restraints, a man's study Bible, a long sword, a white facial mask, a homemade paddle, a molar tooth, a leather whip, a leather crop, an injection bottle, children's cutlery, assault rifles. In room number 11, there's a paper titled House Rules. There's some whips, some ropes, and there are guns, just so you know, everywhere. Just think of it as guns, 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 and more guns. Guns and then guns. There's a bullwhip, and there are also 4 cameras throughout the house, mostly in the basement. Dog collars, rhinestone costume jewelry.
For when he felt fancy.
4 tasers, women's lingerie, more paddles. Let's see what's in the blacklight room. There's a leather whip, a penis pup, sex toys, and a Hello Kitty sippy cup.
So he had more than one sippy cup.
How many sippy cups does one person need?
Exactly.
Room number 4 is the gun room, and, you already know it's in the gun room. Guns.
Guns?
Also a dog choker chain, but pretty much guns. Beer cans, Mike's Hard Lemonade, guns, and then some guns. The police did luminol in parts of the house, and in the cage room, it just lit up. There was so much blood, and I don't even know what else, that they just took the whole carpet out. Brooke's shorts were found, stained with blood, soiled. Her underwear had been cut. Her shirt had been cut down the middle. Her bra had been cut down the middle, and there were semen stains on her bra. In Brady's house, he had something posted that said, "Pain helps us learn, pleasure helps us forget," along with a whole bunch of poetry that he scribbled dead all over.
Oh.
Remember those 4 video cameras?
Yes.
There were videos attached to those video cameras. So the police were able to see what happened for 5 days to Brooke. They were running the whole time. I did not see the videos, thank God, because I could not handle that. However, there is a hour-by-hour report about what happened to Brooke that I did read. So I'm going to share with you what happened to Brooke, what's on the video, and we'll take a quick break.
And now we're back.
We're back.
And now I'm going to be horrified to find out what happened to Brooke and what was on those videos.
In one of the videos, Brady recorded Brooke, and he was asking Brooke questions. He had Brooke state her name, and she said that she had agreed to meet Brady at a park so she could be part of a true abduction, kidnapping, and ransom type experience. Her boyfriend, according to Brooke, was supposed to pay Brady monopoly money for the ransom. She was also supposed to be kidnapped for a week, but due to pregnancy complications, she was going to have to end her ransom and kidnapping experience early. In the video, Brooke has a black eye. She has bruises on her neck. Brady asks her to explain the marks. And apparently you can tell that Brady is like mouthing to her what to say. She says she got the black eye and the bruises from, quote, the abduction part, end quote. Brady then asks Brooke to tell the camera the worst torture he's done to her so far. Brooke states, "He made me put my own eye drops in my eyes," to which Brady starts laughing.
What?
I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Then Brady states in the video that they're on day 3.5 of the experience, but she's having contractions, so the experience is going to have to end early. He assures Brooke that her and her boyfriend will get a copy of the abduction video. And that's the end of that particular video. In reviewing the other videos found, the police were able to piece together the events that happened Saturday night, July 12th, up until the 17th of July. After Brady and Brooke's last communication on Craigslist, Brady put on his hat, his shoes. He got a large blade. He inspected it, and then he concealed it in his left shirt sleeve. He also put another knife at the right side of his pants. And he walked out of the room and left the house. Approximately an hour and a half later, at 1 o'clock on Sunday morning, Brooke is seen in the video. She's handcuffed with her hands behind her back. She's in the basement. And Brady has his hand on the back of her neck. He's shirtless. She's fully clothed but has a black eye. Then Brady is seen putting a chain around Brooke's neck, securing it to a lock on the bathroom floor. The chain's approximately 8 feet long. Brady pulls out a gun, and he points it at Brooke. The next thing that Brady does is Brady secures Brooke's arms and hands, and he puts them in the pulley system, and he suspends Brooke from the ceiling to the point where she has to stand on the tip of her toes. He then repeatedly rapes her for several minutes.
I have such anxiety for Brooke right now.
I feel tremendous amount of grief knowing that the terror she must have gone through was unimaginable. Brooke is eventually removed from the police system, and she is put on a stool, that black stool I told you about where there was hair and blood found. Her hands were chained to her neck, which was chained to the stool. Brady is seen walking around in his underwear. At some point, he removes the chain from her neck and forces her to perform oral sex. Then they take a shower. The next morning, in the video, you can see Brooke and Brady are naked, and she is handcuffed to him, and she is crying. And he puts her left arm up into the pulley system and stretches her out. A few hours later, Brady makes Brooke smoke marijuana. Quite a few times he doesn't smoke it himself, but he forces her to smoke pot with a chain around her neck. In another part of the video, you can see that while Brooke is sleeping, he urinates in her water bottle. I guess just to be a dick. There's so much more that goes on, but I think you guys all get the point. She's chained. She's left in the dark for hours and hours. She's tasered. She's repeatedly raped. I can't even count how many times that she is raped.
I'm surprised all of this didn't make her go into labor.
It might have. I mean, that might be
her.
why he ended it. I mean, she was 8 months pregnant.
I mean, she's being brutalized.
At one point, he put something in her mouth, and he tapes her mouth and her head and her neck, and he covers her with tape. Not enough to kill her, but to restrict her breathing. Throughout the entire 5 days of videos, you can see Brooke crying over and over again. The same torture continues, and on July 17th, at around 1 o'clock, Brady is seen shutting the video off. It was 7 hours later that he was captured with Brooke in his trunk.
So he didn't videotape killing her?
He did not videotape killing her. They do know, however, that she was strangled with some sort of ligature. The police were able to surmise what happened on July 12th, 2014, to Charlie and to Brooke. They met Brady at the park. I believe he told them there was a spot where he had it set up with a blanket so they could have sex. As they're walking down the trail, Brady shoots Charlie. He obviously drags Charlie's body into the woods. It's not exactly clear when he cut off Charlie's head. However, Charlie's head was found this year, in March. It was found in Kent County, not far from where this all occurred. GPS coordinates on Brady's phone show that he was in the area where the head was found for 11 minutes on July 15th of 2014. So at some point, he, in my theory, went back to the park after the initial killing and cut off Charlie's head. Because after he met Brooke and Charlie, he was home within a half hour. To me, it would take a little bit of time to decapitate someone's head, though I have never done it myself. Brooke's family had a website. It was originally called Help Find Brooke, but obviously after Brooke was found, they said they couldn't change the name. They raised money at that website to put a memorial bench in the park in honor of little baby Audie and Brooke. And her father wanted the world to know that he believed Brooke was a good girl who got manipulated into doing things she wouldn't normally do because of her love for Charlie.
She was only 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was young.
18.
This poor girl.
So anyway, that's the story for today. I want to thank everybody for listening. We're going to have another great episode next week. Don't forget to check us out on social media, where you can find us by typing in
at Hardcore True Crime.
Yep.
And always go to our website because there's always lots of extras about the episodes. TNTcrimes.com.
Until next week.
Until next week, don't kill each other.
Bye.
Bye.